Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, Whovians around the world of every skin color, race, creed, country of origin, planet of origin, and or species. Russell T. Davies is once again reconfirming exactly what we've known since his return to Doctor Who, that he is doubling down. He doesn't care about anybody's opinion but his own. And of course, his masters over at the Walt Disney Company, who currently run this entire show and are funding all of the current modern Doctor Who, which certainly explains a lot about what happened inside the 60th anniversary edition, especially considering what was supposed to be the children's episode was nothing more than representation, downplaying and talking down to men and completely and totally destroying the great and wonderful character that was David Tennant's Doctor, and making nothing more than a former shell of himself, and as well as going ahead and destroying one of our favorite relationships, the Dr. Donna as well. Well, Russell T. Davies, boys and girls, just when you think he might be done and returning back to maybe some normal sci-fi traditional Doctor Who stories, no. When recently asked in an interview, he is doubling down full bore. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing is going to change. It is going to be rainbow flags and dancing in gay clubs going forward for all of space and time going forward with a Doctor Who Russell T. Davies, because apparently, even though the massive decline in viewership numbers is going on, even though some of the latest seasons have been some of the worst rated in the history of Doctor Who, no, ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't matter. We are just a small minority out there. We are not the majority of the Whovian fans who have a problem with all of this. No. They're going to bring in so many new fans with all of this new agenda-driven nonsense and pushing their political views over the top of good storytelling. Yes, because Russell T. Davies' current status as far as who he likes to sleep with is now more important than all of our adventures through space and time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we've seen happen time and time again, another show will end up going the same way as the Dodo and going down the drain and burning out and coming to never be heard of again. And it's such a tragedy because the Doctor Who universe has been something that fans have loved globally without a need for any actual forced diversity or forced nonsense agenda-driven BS, which is exactly apparently what Russell T. Davies is all about nowadays. And guess what? In the latest interview, he is once again doubling down on all of that nonsense. So those of you who thought things might get better at some point, no, ladies and gentlemen, it's just going to be more of the same. And it's just a color us shock there that everything Disney touches turns to dust. And Disney is making sure that Russell T. Davies is down to double down on the agenda with plenty of money, because apparently Disney isn't done burning money and trying to drive their company into absolute bankruptcy. And they're going to just destroy one more franchise. If you didn't already think Doctor Who was dead, well, ladies and gentlemen, Disney's going to finish off the job. So we're going to get to this article from Beyond Into Comics, get you into all of the juicy details and see exactly what is going on here. But before we do, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, follow or subscribe, depending on what platform you're on, and join us to May 16th at 11 a.m. for our very first live stream, which will be my birthday stream over here on this channel. So come check it out. We're officially monetized. It should be a really good time, and we'll be going all day long. So even if you're at work, don't think you're going to miss don't think you're going to miss it. You'll be able to come in and have a lot of good time with the rest of us. So let's check this out. So Doctor Who's showrunner, Russell T. Davies, dismisses critics of his decision to focus series on queer themes. In dark little corners, people might argue, but that's not the real world. Well, you know what is the real world, Russell T. Davies? The audience scores and the viewership number ratings. And guess what, Bubba? You're on Disney Plus now. Those numbers are going to be looked at very meticulously. I promise you. In the opinion of showrunner Russell T. Davies, a bevy of criticisms leveled towards his decision to make queer themes a central focus of Doctor Who are not only inconsequential, but ultimately detached from fan sentiment in the real world. Tell that to the viewing numbers, which, by the way, boys and girls, if you are a Whovian and you are a fan of Doctor Who, come join us every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time over on Rumble exclusively, where we review good Who. We started out with Christopher Eccleston. We're working through the fourth season of David Tennant, and it is just a good time, and it is such a palate cleanser after dealing with all of this nonsense abominations that we are seeing from Neo Who. So let's continue. All right. Davies offered his defense of the latest take on the Time Lord during a May 2024 interview given to Collider Samantha Casey in promotion of Doctor Who's return to the airwaves. At one point, making note of how the show just keeps leaning into queer themes and everything, especially since the specials. Yeah, those abominations. By the way, the lowest watched Doctor Who specials in history. Casey eventually asked Davies if he could speak about leaning more into that more intentionally, to which the showrunner replied, "It's funny because it has to be absolutely honest. It's almost not that deliberate because that's the life like that I lead." Oh, yes. So you've officially lost all of your writing talent, and now you can only write from your own perspective and your own experiences in the back room of gay clubs. Okay, that makes sense then. That explains everything. The mask is officially off. He's no longer pretending to be a good writer. He's just writing what he knows, his truth, his life. Screw, the other 97% of the population that doesn't live that lifestyle. I wrote a series called Queer as Folk in 99 that broke down many barriers, and I'm never going to step back from that. In fairness, no one's ever asked me to step back from that. The fans have with what you're doing to Doctor Who now. We didn't mind because you didn't do this stuff to Doctor Who back then. And I just think it doesn't even feel particularly queer to me. But it's because you live in a bubble where you're surrounded by people that think, act, and are just like you. Try Middle America. Try Texas. And see if that's the life that everyone else leads. And it just comes so natural. It feels natural. In 2024, we're all embracing this. No, we're not. Twitter might kick off, and in dark little corners, people might argue. But that's not the real world. The real world is one of acceptance, and with battles to be fought and votes to be gained. Oh, yeah? Tell that to Bud Light. Homeboy, tell Bud Light how it's not the real world, how everybody's just so accepting. Yeah, no, we reject you, we reject your nonsense, and we reject your agenda. And Doctor Who fans reject it too, which is why your ratings are in the toilet. Closing out his thoughts on the topic, Davies added, "I'm not naive to the problems that exist, but God, it's a more welcoming world. In schools, we now have people who come out and be happy and thrive, which when I was that age was literally impossible. No, what we have now is schools that groom children into thinking they're something that they're not, and then do disastrous harm to them that can never be reversed. That's what we actually have. Homeboy. It's just like when I was in middle school, all the girls were bi because they kissed one girl. And then, after they all became grown-ups, they all became adults, got married to men, and ended up having a bunch of kids. Yeah, guess it was just a phase after all. And it was just a trending thing, much like all of this nonsense that you guys push nowadays is just a trending thing. The problem with, unlike the, ooh, I kissed a girl in middle school, high school, or college thing, what you're pushing now actually causes irrevocable harm and damage to children. That's why people have an issue with your queer agenda, Russell T. Davies, because we have seen the consequences of that slippery slope. You didn't want equality. You wanted dominance. And guess what? It's not going to work, which is why this show is going to fail. I don't think about it much. This is my world, and I'm trusted by my bosses to put my world and my writing on the screen. Once again, me. It's not about Doctor Who. It's not about respecting the fans. It's not about respecting the lore. It's not about making a good quality sci-fi television show that fans globally and universally can love and enjoy. No, it's about making sure that his cock-sucking ass and the cock-sucking that he likes to do on the weekends is shown on the screen. It's shown to your families. It's shown to your children. It's interjected in what has been a beloved show for over 60 years. Fuck Russell T. Davies. Fuck everybody at Disney that's paying for this bullshit. And fuck every single one of you little cocksucking trolls out there in the comments that want to come in there and defend this queer agenda, admittedly queer agenda driven bullshit. Doctor Who is dead. Chris Chibnall killed it. And Russell T. Davies is currently burying it in the ground with funding from the Walt Disney Company. Fuck Russell T. Davies. Fuck Neo Who. Fuck Nakuti Gatwa. Fuck Shooty, whatever the fuck his name is. Fuck Chris Chibnall. And fuck everyone at the Walt Disney Company that signed off on this queer bullshit agenda. Real Doctor Who fans will continue to go back and enjoy and love all of the things we have for decades, because we have decades worth of entertainment. We don't need your Neo-Who bullshit. We don't need your agenda. 6 p.m. Sundays. Join me for reviewing Good Who and cleanse your palate from this absolute disgusting, queer-driven agenda bullshit that is nothing more than a vanity project for Russell T. Davies, so that his sinful, immoral behavior can be justified by the people around him. Fuck you, Russell T. Davies. Fuck the Walt Disney Company. Go enjoy sucking dick in the back room of a bar. We'll go enjoy Classic Who on Sunday nights.